At the office farewell, they toasted my replacement while security dragged me out. "She'll fix your mess," my boss smirked. I lost my job, my life's work, and my identity. 48 hours later, she opened my files and found out why I never answered her 19 calls. Security didn't just escort me out of the building, they paraded me past a catered welcome party for my replacement. Rain hammered the glass walls of the break room as I stumbled past them, soaked and humiliated. Inside, they toasted her, Sabine Voss, the Ivy League darling with a pristine resume and zero real-world experience. Gold balloons floated above her like a coronation, while my life's work sat crumpled in a cardboard box under my arm. At the center of it all, Miles Carrick, my boss of 3 years. His champagne flute glistened in the fluorescent light. I caught his eye just as he raised it in a smug toast. "She'll fix your mess," he mouthed through the rain-speckled glass. 3 years. Gone in a single phrase. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I walked. My name is Delaney Shaw, and until 43 minutes ago, I was the lead systems architect for a traffic infrastructure project designed to save lives in Wichita Falls, Texas, a project that would later bring an entire city to its knees. But not yet. At that moment, they were still celebrating. Want to know how I got from security escort to having the mayor personally offer me power over city infrastructure? Trust me, it gets worse before it gets better. If you've ever been kicked to the curb and left for someone shinier, hit that like button right now and comment the name of the city where your worst betrayal happened. Back to my downfall. "We're pursuing new methodologies," Miles had said, moments before I was fired. Translation: they didn't understand my work, and rather than admit that, they blamed me. Sabine had been shadowing me for months, all under the guise of support. In meetings, she'd gently challenge my strategies, then stay behind to take photos of my whiteboards when she thought I wasn't looking. She wore her hair in a severe bun and called my algorithmic flowcharts unstructured. I called them adaptive. She called them non-compliant. I called them alive. They called me obsolete. That night I sat alone in my apartment. No pets, no partner, just a leftover protein bar and the echo of my wet shoes on hardwood. I had nothing left but my notes, and a system they could never replicate. 48 hours later, Sabine called me, not once, 19 times. I never answered. I knew exactly what was happening. By day 3, I got a call not from her, but from Liam, one of the few junior engineers who survived Miles's team optimizations. "It's bad," he whispered. "North Quadrant's locked. Ambulances rerouted. Mayor's furious." I said nothing. Sabine tried to recode the intersections with textbook patterns. "It's a mess. They're saying it's sabotage. They're saying you did it." That last part hit like a slap. Oh, they were going to spin it. They always do. But I had a plan, one that would cost them everything. On the third night my doorbell rang. I didn't need to check the peephole. I already knew it was him, Miles Carrick, my old boss. The man who had me escorted out in the rain while he toasted Sabine with a $90 bottle of sparkling wine. Now, he looked like hell. His tailored suit was wrinkled. His normally slick silver hair stuck up in wild tufts. He smelled like panic and sleepless nights. "Delaney," he said, voice shaky. "May I come in?" I leaned against the doorframe. "No," he blinked. We need to talk, about the system, about Sabine. I don't work for you anymore. Remember, you said she'd fix my mess. She's trying, but your architecture, she says it's undocumented, unconventional, it's collapsing under real-world loads." I crossed my arms. That's odd. I distinctly remember her saying conventional was better. "Please," he whispered. "We're offering triple your old salary, just stabilize it." I stared him down. "You fired me. You humiliated me. You let her steal my work." His jaw clenched. "Lives are at stake, Delaney." "They always were," I said coldly. "You didn't care when I missed my mom's surgery or spent New Year's debugging your way out of a lawsuit." He hesitated. "You'll never work in this industry again if you don't help. I'll make sure of it." I smiled. "Then you better hope your industry survives the week." I shut the door in his face. The next morning, I found an anonymous message on my phone. A time, a location, and 5 words. "Please, for the city." Mayor Rivas. The address was neutral ground, a rundown diner on the edge of the industrial district. No reporters, no suits, just coffee and quiet desperation. When I arrived, Mayor Evelyn Rivas looked like she hadn't slept in days. "Thank you for coming," she said, sliding a mug toward me. I watched them force you out. I didn't agree with it. You didn't stop it either. She didn't deny it. The city is dying, 2 million people trapped in gridlock, ambulances can't reach patients. School buses are 3 hours late. There's been deaths, Delaney. I stared down at my coffee. They're going to scrap the whole system, she added. Start over with something basic. It'll set us back 5 years. They want to erase me, I said quietly. Pretend I never existed. No, she said. They want you to fix what they broke, but I don't. I want to hire you, directly. As a municipal consultant, I looked up. You'd go around them, she nodded. They licensed the system to us. They're in breach. I'll fight them. You'll have full control, your name on everything. And my team. I choose them. Done. As I stood to leave, she placed a hand on mine. This city needs you, Delaney, not them, you. Outside, I saw the traffic lights glitching in real time. Horns blared in chaotic symphony. I watched an elderly man nearly get clipped trying to cross a blinking crosswalk. The city was breaking, but not beyond repair, not with me in control. That evening, Liam called again. Board's panicking. They called an emergency session tomorrow. Sabine's blaming the collapse on your code, says it's booby-trapped. I actually laughed. Of course she does. Will you come? Not yet, I said, but I'll be watching. 9:30 a.m. I walked into Nexira Systems HQ like I still worked there. Like I hadn't been paraded out like a thief just a week before. The receptionist froze. The security guard looked up, definitely not the same one who'd walked me out, but didn't stop me. I pressed the elevator button, my reflection staring back at me from polished chrome. Today wasn't about revenge. Not the childish kind, anyway. This was about reclamation. On the executive floor, I took a seat in the waiting area directly outside the glass-walled boardroom. I didn't go in. I didn't need to, because inside, I could see Sabine and Miles seated at the head of the table. Sabine looked pale. Her perfect bun was fraying. Miles was sweating through his suit. I watched them through the glass like a ghost they thought they buried. At 10:07 a.m., the board chairman banged his gavel. Miles launched into a full presentation, charts, graphs, failure reports, a dramatic performance blaming my experimental design for the citywide chaos. At 10:21 a.m., Sabine stood up. She didn't glance at Miles. She looked straight at me, and then she threw him under the bus. She didn't sabotage anything, I read from her lips. She built something beyond what we understood, and we failed her. Mouths fell open. One board member's pen actually dropped onto the table. Miles tried to interrupt. The chairman raised a hand and silenced him. By 10:37, a security officer approached me. Miss Shaw, he said, the board has requested your presence. I stood slowly, smoothed my suit, entered the lion's den. The room went dead silent. You've heard what Miss Voss said, the chairman began. Is it true? Can this system be salvaged? I nodded. If you stay out of my way. He looked stunned. Excuse me. I'm already contracted with the mayor. You no longer own my work. You licensed it and breached the contract. The city retained me directly, effective immediately. The door opened behind me. Mayor Rivas entered, her legal team behind her. You've been formally notified of breach, she said calmly. Delaney is now leading the recovery effort. Your company has no further role. Miles lunged forward. You can't do this. I can, I replied. And I just did. Back in the hallway, Sabine approached me. I told them everything, she said quietly. Why? Because I was wrong. You built something I couldn't understand, and instead of respecting it, I tried to replace it. I studied her face. The arrogance was gone. All that was left was regret. Then watch closely, I said. You might learn something. That night I didn't celebrate. No champagne, no victory playlist, no triumphant dance in my living room. Instead, I opened my old notebooks and filled 5 new pages before the sun even rose. Equations, anomaly maps, predictive overlays. My system hadn't just been code, it had been an organism. A digital pulse synchronized to the heartbeat of Wichita Falls itself. They didn't know what they'd destroyed, but I did. By 7 a.m., I had a plan, not just to stabilize the system, but to evolve it, to rebuild it with layers they couldn't even conceive. I called Liam. I need the grid's raw telemetry from the last 72 hours. Unfiltered. Coming your way, he said. Delaney, they're calling you the ghost architect on the news. I laughed. Let them. At 8 a.m., I walked into City Hall. This time I wasn't wearing my grief, I wore power. Mayor Rivas cleared an entire wing for my team. Within 24 hours, I'd hired 4 engineers the company had let go during budget cuts. People who thought like I did, chaotically, creatively, not robots, humans. The next 3 days blurred. We didn't sleep. We debugged with whiteboards and coffee and jazz records playing at 3 a.m. We didn't fix the old system. We resurrected it and made it stronger, more human, more alive. Day 5, 6:12 a.m. Every quadrant lit up green. Emergency routes flowed. Traffic adjusted in real time to rain, wind, and even a massive downtown protest no one had planned for. My system didn't just respond. It anticipated. By 9 a.m., the mayor held a press conference. She credited an innovative adaptive algorithmic architecture led by Delaney Shaw for ending the crisis. She called it a technological miracle. Exactly 30 days later, I walked past the glass facade of Nexira Systems HQ on my way to my new office in the Municipal Innovation Division. Through the windows, I saw moving boxes, empty desks, a once bustling company hollowed out. Their city contract, their lifeline, had been permanently reassigned to my department. Standing near the door was Miles Carrick, pale and broken, watching as his empire crumbled. Our eyes met. I didn't smile, didn't gloat. I just nodded once and kept walking. Because revenge isn't yelling, it isn't breaking things. It's building something so powerful, they can't ever tear it down again. And then walking away like you never needed their applause in the first place. It came 1 month to the day after I rebuilt the system. I was in my new office, glass-walled, overlooking the city grid I'd helped untangle. A team of 20 engineers reported to me now. People who respected complexity, who didn't flinch at chaos, who understood that cities aren't machines, they're living things. And then my phone buzzed. Sabine, I hesitated, then answered. Delaney, she breathed. I wanted to say thank you. I didn't speak. I watched the system this morning, she continued. The way it rerouted the entire east sector during the parade, it predicted congestion before it even happened. I know, I said simply. A pause. Then, I gave a statement to the press. I told them what happened. How I was brought in to replace you, but I couldn't understand what you'd created. That it was never a mess. It was just ahead of its time. I didn't respond. Not yet. And Miles, she added, he's being investigated. For financial misconduct. Turns out he'd been funneling R&D money into fake consultant contracts. My hire was part of it. I sat back. There it was, the final twist in the knife. Sabine wasn't just my replacement. She was a pawn in something even uglier. I'm sorry, she said quietly, for everything. And for the first time I believed her. I know, I replied, but I'm not coming back. I didn't expect you to. A long silence passed between us. Just one more thing, she asked. When you built it, did you know it would fall apart without you? I took a breath. No, I just knew it would fall apart without understanding. Click. I turned off my phone and stepped onto the rooftop terrace. Below me, the city pulsed with life. Lights blinked in perfect cadence. Traffic glided. Sirens echoed only briefly, then faded because they were no longer stuck. They were moving, fast, free. That was my revenge, not the firing. Not the press, not even the contract. It was watching a whole city breathe again and knowing they'd tried to replace me, erase me, and failed. Because you can't erase what you don't understand. And now I write the rules.